Hey guys, Tim and Shauna, and today's video is about jumping rope to improve lower body strength. So you may be thinking, first of all, well, why in the world would I jump rope to improve lower body strength when all I have to do is go to the gym and lift weights? And that is a perfectly valid question. And the answer is yeah, you don't. There's a million things you can do to improve your lower body strength, but
you're here because you love rope jumping.
Exactly. You're a rope jumping fiend. You're having fun with it, and you not only want the benefit to your cardio and your coordination and your balance, and we could go on and on, but you also want to improve your lower body strength. So Shauna's going to show you just two moves, but one of them is somewhat complex, so bear with us. And those moves are going to be the high single. And here it is from
Oops, I went into a
Profile.
double, sorry.
I know it's tempting to just go right into a double under. So the high single replicates the jump height of a double under, typically, or it could even be a triple under, but for most people this will feel familiar if they already do double unders, and if they don't, it's not important. So essentially you're just jumping a bit higher, a couple of inches higher, if that, kind of like a pogo stick. And then we'll show you the second one, and then we'll break them down. And the second one is a one-legged jump. So you take one leg off the ground, and now your entire body weight is supported by a single leg. Okay? All right, perfect. So why would we do either of these, and what can we hope to accomplish by performing them? All right, so high single, for the most part, loads your calves. There is a slight bend in the knee. Now, if you've never done these before, you may want to just put the rope down for a second. Use the typical method, no rope at first. So we have soft knees, we have good posture, we have feet close together, and we're pushing off with the balls of the feet. So as soon as that happens, the calves are loaded. And by adding that extra height and by leaving the ground, now we have to deal with impact on our way down. And so that's going to require the ankles to work a bit harder, the calves, the knees, and the hips. So there's a lot going on here. And of course, the higher you jump, the more challenging this becomes. One thing that we wanted to point out, and this is true with every single jump, but we'll point it out now, is you want to maintain that separation of the knees on landing. What often happens is those knees start to collapse, and they will often touch, right? They'll cave in, knees will touch, so that actually gives you some support and stability, because when they're touching, they can't go any further. But it's often an indication of outer hip weakness. So if this is you, if you're looking in the mirror when you're just doing your basic bounce, or you're doing your side straddle, or what have you, and those knees collapse in, Shauna's not even exaggerating. I mean, they collapse in. More. She has a hard time showing this, but I've seen it where, those knees are just slamming into each other.
Ironically, it's a very useful thing to do, the limbo, but
So this is just something to pay attention to in general. But okay, so that's your high single, pushing off with the balls of the feet, getting a little spring. That's the jump with no rope. We could also do the jump swinging the rope to the side. This is your windmill swing, pushing off with the balls of the feet. And you can hear that impact, right? Now, in terms of volume, if this is new for you, keep it low. Maybe 8 to 10. Break, do something else, 8 to
Or-
10.
Coordination challenge is to try to flow from one to the other. Low, high. I don't know if we want to cover in this video. Your turning technique does need to change when you jump higher.
Well, let's show them the jump with the rope,
All
and
right.
then they can understand what that means.
Basic single. I'm not trying to go too fast, but
So that's your regular single. This is not the high single.
it's like tight little circle right there, right?
But when you go into the high single, because you're in the air longer, you're going to need to
Big
slow
circle.
the rope down.
That slows it down. There's a braking that happens here.
Yeah, as that wrist comes around, that's circumduction, it slows the rope down. It will not work if you turn very fast and do a high jump. You're most likely to miss, okay? So this is something, again, you're gonna feel primarily in the calves, but it will also affect ankles, knees, and hips. Now the second one, much more complicated, is the single leg jump.
I'm starting to wish we did it in a different order.
And if you've ever jumped on one leg with no rope to work on strength for running, some people will actually use the running motion as they do their jump, but it's not essential. So a bunch of things are happening now. As soon as you pick up that leg, even if you don't jump at all, you're gonna sink into the hip of the support leg. And what we're gonna try to fight, though, is the body leaning dramatically to that side, because you'll see that a lot. It'll just shift over. So Shauna's hopping on her left leg, and what you'll often see is the body leans tremendously towards that left side. So we want to fight that. And to fight that, we're going to contract the abs, try to maintain some good posture, okay? And you'll want to try this on both sides with no rope. So you can see Shauna's keeping these jumps tiny, really, really small.
No high jumps on one leg for me.
Yeah. Now that's not to say you can't do a higher jump. You can. All right. So that was no rope. Now, unlike the high single, this one not only loads the calves, but you're going to feel it in the quad quite a bit. You're going to feel it in the hip and the glute. You might even feel it in the hamstring. So now we can do rope to the side.
Now, good question. Should I do it ipsilateral or contralateral?
Yeah, so contralateral just means that the rope would be in the hand opposite the jumping leg.
Since this isn't heavy,
I think that's
it
probably
doesn't matter too much, but
a good idea.
coordination-wise makes sense.
And this, by the way, this is just our standard 5mm rope, PVC, nothing fancy. Could you do this with a beaded rope? For sure. Could you do it with a slightly heavier rope? Yes. Could you do it with a cable rope? Not a great idea. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so now we untangle. And a little different than the high single, with the single leg jump, you could turn fast-ish if you wanted to.
Might be necessary.
Probably, faster than the high single, but it's not essential. So here we go. We're going to try a single leg jump. One leg leaves the ground. And now Shauna's supported by the right, by the left. And we would suggest keeping the volume low. I think Shauna's doing maybe 4 to 5 before she switches.
A ladder or a mini ladder. A ladder could be very strict, like you do 1 or 2 or 3 singles, and then
Right.
one.
And 1.
That's a little
2,
awkward.
2.
We're gonna assume you've built up enough strength to get through a few more. You could start with 4. 1,
2, 3,
4.
4.
Take a break. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a break. And a break might mean going to basic, like me.
Yeah.
Or if
Or a swing.
you're differently challenged with cardio, it might mean just stop and then do the other one.
Right. Yeah. So you could stop, you could walk, you could go into a side swing, which would be your break, or you could go into your basic bounce, that could be your break. So it will depend on a number of factors. And by the way, this is not a good idea if you have orthopedic issues at the feet, ankles, knees, hips, you're in pain, discomfort. Don't do it. But if you're feeling good, you're cleared by your doc, and you want to just keep jumping and build lower body strength simultaneously, then these two moves can be pretty awesome.
Test yourself standing on one leg first.
Probably should have said that at the start.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Make that point.
And
Going
let's
in the
see.
other direction, the advanced move is to travel.
Yeah. So traveling adds another dimension to this. And by traveling, we just mean hopping forward. So there's going to be a lot more effort coming from the glute going forward. And again, Shauna's keeping these jumps super low. You could go much, much higher. But if you've ever done a one-legged hop on the street or up a hill, you'll know how demanding that can be. Now, by adding the rope, all you're doing is really adding a coordination challenge. So again, we're not suggesting that you substitute either of these moves for your traditional strength training. Not at all. We're just saying that if you enjoy jumping and you want to get the benefits of building strength while jumping, these are two pretty good options. Are there others? Yeah, there are others, but we especially like these. So traveling is something you could definitely throw into the mix. And going backwards, not quite.
I like going backwards.
It's of course a different kind of push off.
I suggest going backwards rather than trying to turn. Well.
Yeah, you could turn, you could go lateral, right? So you could do a one-legged skier. Now we're getting into pretty intense territory.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
And I would not do that unless you feel really good about your knee and you feel really strong and stable.
I'm not doing it on the right.
You could do a one-legged bell, which is forward and back.
That I can do.
Yeah. So lots of ways to spice this up. But guys, give it a shot. Let us know what you think. If you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you have any questions, jot them down in the comments below, and we will respond. Okay, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye now.